Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stress Free IEP, the show where we help families build their village so they can raise their neurodivergent children with confidence, clarity, and support. I'm your host, Frances Schefter, special education attorney, advocate, and fellow parent walking this journey with you. Each week, we shine a light on professional services and real world strategies that support your child both inside and outside of school. From navigating the IEP process to finding the right providers in your community, we're here to help you connect the dots and and to feel empowered every step of the way. Whether you're joining us live on Facebook or YouTube or listening later on your favorite podcast app, we're so glad you're here. Now let's dive in and meet today's guest. Mary McDirmid is a chartered special needs consultant and COO of All Needs Planning. After her daughter Ruth was born with a rare disease, Mary discovered the financial planning industry had no roadmap for families like hers. So she built one. She's a TEDx speaker, co-author of Care, Protect, and Grow, and leads a team whose tagline is Powered by Caregivers. Mary was previously a guest on Stress Free IEP to talk about this all needs planning. And now she's here to talk about her new book. Mary, welcome back.
Thanks. I like a repeat. We had a great conversation last time, so I love it.
Yes.
I'm excited to come back.
You did. Yeah, I'm excited to have you back also because I'm excited to hear about the book.
Yeah.
So talk to us. What's the name? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So Care, Protect, Grow. We want to do all those things. So how do we actually stabilize the care? I don't know if we can do that, but how do we organize the care of the loved one? How do we protect benefits and resources? And then how do we grow all the things that we need to support our families and our kids? So I always like to, well, you know me, I like a crayon version. So how do we continuation of care and continuation of finance throughout the life cycle of the parent, caregiver, and the loved one with a disability?
Right. Which as my dad used to say, making the coffee and the cake come out even. Right.
Good luck.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what we always said. It's never going to happen. But that's part of what financial planning is, though, is totally making sure this is the level of care you want. So this is the level of finances that you need to get there. And then how do we plan that?
Totally. You got it. So yeah, we're trying to make sure they're both have the equal amount of attention, and you can't do one without the other, right? So if you don't know what, like the coffee cake, I love this, I'm going to use that all the time, but like if you don't know that it needs baking soda, how are you going to account for the baking soda that's going to make the cake do the thing that it needs to do, right? So for us, if we don't have a estimated target of what those funds need to be through our working years, our retirement years, and then the bucket we need to leave behind, how are we even planning in general, right? So I think most families are like really worried about the bucket we leave behind, and I am too. I'm not the one that's not going to say I'm worried about that, but there are some other previous worries that we need to address before we can talk about the bucket size, I would say too.
Right. And which makes sense. And I know, I'm sure we talked about it when you were on before about how a lot of times people think financial planning, oh, that's for the rich people.
Right.
And it's not.
It's not. It's truly for everybody. And that's why this exists. So we always have multiple ways to engage, because if you have more than $2,000, you need to plan, right? And who doesn't have more than $2,000? You have a home, probably have some retirement accounts, you have a little bit of savings, right? You have more than that. You need to protect it to keep those benefits in place for your loved one with a disability, right? So I think, we talked about last time, I'm sure, but we've done free work in the past, and we have to stay afloat too. So I'm sure you have the same big heart, I can tell. But now we have full-on financial planning. You need all of us to be on board. You're up here, we can do that. You're in the middle. We have a learning lab where it's a monthly subscription model. You watch videos, you want to DIY, and then now we have a book. So if $25 is that barrier to entry to do your planning, then you can buy a book for $25, and that's
Yeah.
important to us. So,
And I was gonna say, even if you don't have $2,000 or don't think you have $2,000, if you have a special needs child,
right.
you need to know, what benefits are out there. What benefits can I get access to? What, like all of the things that what will limit those benefits.
Totally. And
Yeah.
anybody, I always tell people, like, when parents come to us, I'm like, you guys get the thing, right? You get the thing. You know the Medicaid rules mostly, right? Like, they can't have assets, they can't have income, all of those things. But anybody can over resource your loved one, including themselves. So it's not just like, I'm so pumped that but do we have grandparents that are gonna like give money or want to support? Do we have quirky aunts and uncles that have no children that are gonna split all their money between all their nieces and nephews, right? So I think um I mean, I had someone that grabbed our book and they bought another for grandma and grandpa. They're like, I can't really verbally get this across to them why this is important, right? And I think grandparents have great intentions. I know the grandparents are going to be mad at me, but bad execution. Like,
But it's not right. But it's the reality. They want to help and they don't, but they don't, times then are different than times now.
totally.
They're going to be different in 20 years even, and so it's we want grandparents to give to
I'm
our
in.
children.
I
We
love it.
want them to support,
Yeah.
but let's do it in a way that doesn't minimize their ability to access everything else. And I hate saying that because I hear people now, like I can just see it now, people saying, well, but if you have the money and somebody else in your family has the money, then what do you need the benefits for?
Yeah,
But it's
that's my
different
least
than that,
favorite.
right?
Yes, I agree that. But like, the example I always give people is like, my daughter Ruth's on a waiver. She's 9. It's awesome. The two scenarios where like this is a big deal is she was on a seizure med that was $25,000 a month. So as a family that was on private insurance, we'd be out 10K a year in the January. The January of the year would come around and your max out of pocket spent, and then everything is free, quote unquote, whatever that means, right?
Right.
Okay, awesome. We can afford that. It does really suck in January, but we could afford it, right? So I get that argument. The flip side of it is, now that we're on a waiver and it picks up everything secondary and I'm not out that $10,000, I'm going to flip that into something that's going to make her life better long term. And she will be less dependent on those systems for a longer period because she's surviving off of what I am saving for her in the future. So I get the argument, but I'm also like, it's the ability for us to put more money away for her lifetime to supplement is going to be less burden on the system than just that $10,000 out first.
I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. And it's also, people think, well, if you're taking,
Right.
that means somebody else is not getting.
Right.
But that's not the way the system works.
It's not, and you pay in too. It's not like I'm just taking other people's. Like, I paid in for wonderful amount of years, and those are there for a reason. I don't remember the gentleman's book that I read, and it was about our anniversary. So our country is wonderfully old, and it was about the anniversary. And he goes, "You know why Boston Commons exists?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Because we decided as a society that we should have a common area where everyone gets access to grass to feed their animals, water to feed their animals. So like, we as a society just need to decide what we want to provide as a common source for all human beings." And like, I would hope that if my neighbor got in trouble and he got Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, that the system would be there to support him. I'm that person that wants to pay into something that will help the greater good to make sure everybody is covered at a base level. Now, I know not everybody thinks like that. I totally understand. I am a child of someone that had a disability. I am a parent now of someone that has a disability, so it does affect me. But I am happy to pay into the commons so that we all can benefit at a very base level to make sure we're taken care of.
Right. Which makes sense. It's and it's hard because there's also, I know, a lot of people say, well, my child's not as disabled as
Yeah,
another child.
I get this.
So
Yep,
I
I
don't want
do.
to take from them. But again, it's not.
No, I mean, we all have access to apply. We all have access to the same programs. It all is the same assessment process. So you will get the thing based on the assessment that the state does on what kind of benefits they deem you need. Our first step when people come in are like, have you applied for these at any point? And I do get the also, we're talking about providing for all, and I get people on the other end, the wealthy end, that are like, we can provide, and I'm like, can you? Let's math it out. Let's do the math on if that is possible without those benefits, because it doesn't usually math with paying for healthcare after someone turns 26 and they're on their own, and
Yeah.
the way those healthcare products work, and not being on Medicare in the end, and not being on Social Security, it like doesn't usually math as you think it would. And if you have other kids, other purposes that you want to support long term, that becomes hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah. It's not, people don't realize it of how expensive things can truly become. And that it's, again, like it just, yeah. I mean, mapping it out, like, they talk about like, what's college going to be? I have
Totally.
a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old. What's college? I don't want to think about it.
We have same age kids. My 12-year-old
Yeah.
told me that she wanted to be a neurosurgeon recently. I was like, well, I didn't save for that. It was like,
Cool.
yeah, exactly.
My daughter.
Same reaction. I was like, oh, I mean, I'm so happy. Just threw up in my mouth a little, but I'm really.
So my daughter said, we were talking about like school wasn't working. We were talking about homeschooling. She's like, well, Mom, I'll never get into Harvard if I homeschooled. I'm like, well, that's not totally true. And then my husband's like, we can't afford Harvard. And I said, Hannah, if you get into Harvard, I will find a way to pay.
We'll always make it work. We'll find a way.
We'll make it work, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's, that's the thing. Like we make it work. We figure it out, whatever that may look like. Okay, I might be selling my house and living in a trailer park, but if she gets into Harvard, I'll do that happily.
We're gonna apply for so many scholarships. We're gonna make it work. But yes,
right,
and I think
exactly
for our families, there is conflicting goals as well. So like I have a soon to be 12 and 10-year-old, and so same. She did tell me that, and then the next week she's like, I want to be an X-ray tech. I was like, well, that's manageable in the budget we have. But then for her sister, okay, what is the target we're doing? It's a bigger target, different target, lifetime target, and that is why I like push people, like, if you get on these benefits, it will give you some relief. And then you can use that to fix something. It's the same model as I use for parents that have kids in daycare and they want to save for college. Cool. You've been paying X bill to daycare. How do we take that money and leverage it for the future goal of college? Same in the benefit world. If we get on these benefits, it alleviates some copays for you, alleviates some things that you might not have to pay for now. We are going to move that money to something that is going to better the future for your child with disability.
And it's also, for those that have kids with disabilities and then kids without disabilities, and the fair, whatever it is, what it is,
whatever you want to. Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, should all assets go to the one with disabilities and the one without doesn't get anything? Like, how is that developing a good family relationship and a good sibling bond,
right? Well, the
right?
things I think of is like, we don't talk about this with the sibling that doesn't have the disability till their frontal lobes formed and they can absorb it. So like we're talking 30s, right? So
Right.
Before then, we're just saying, hey, this is what I tell my other daughter, like, we're planning to take care of Ruth. We have a lot of things in play. We don't need you to come back into the fold until you've lived in the world for a bit and experienced things. And then if you want jobs, we'll have assignments that are my choice, but I'm not force assigning you either. And then if we can have the money part taken care of, then the care part may be able to be cut up into different people and also doesn't have to be the sibling. So
Right.
I think there's multiple layers. And as long as you're having the conversation with them before you pass and when their frontal lobe is formed, I think it's great. That's where I've seen it go the best. If you have zero conversations with them and they already know the estate's going to be skewed one way. So you might as well tell them when you're alive, and you can have the real hard, awkward conversation of what's that going to be like, specifically if they have a job. And I'm talking about us having that below and us having that above. If you're not having that conversation with your aging parents as well, that's on you. You need to be the one to have the conversation. So I'm all for having conversations when it's not 50, even if it is 50-50, whatever percentage you are splitting your estate up, you need to have the conversation while you're alive, and they can handle it.
Right. And that's the thing. It's explaining it and talking it through and knowing it's I don't know. I think back and I'm like, I'm big on like I want my kids to have a great sister relationship, right?
Thank
When
you.
they grow up. And so how do we build that here now with they both I mean, both of my kids are neurodiverse, have different needs, spending goes differently. How do we make that work that it's fair, but not necessarily equal,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, the story I tell often is like my kids were 5 and 3 when this happened, which was like way too early for me to comprehend. But I was driving home on a Friday night. All the hard questions come then, right? What do they hold them in all week? I don't know what's happening. But like I'm driving home on a Friday night, and my 5-year-old's like, "Hey, mom, I want to take care of Ruth." And I was like, "Can't wait. We have dinner. It's Friday. We're all tired. Like that sounds fun. What are you guys gonna do when we get home?" And she's like, "No, when you and dad are dead." I was like,
At 5 and 3.
I'm not what? Not ready. I'm like starting to like tear up, and then I'm like, damn you Disney movies, you have really like she thinks she's Anna and Elsa, and like we're gonna go on a boat and never come home, right? And so then I'm
Right.
like compose myself enough to get together an answer, which was, babe, like your job is to be her sister. Like, I want you guys to go into the basement and get in trouble and like light a fire, whatever. Do something with your sister that is sibling related, that is not parent related. You're not her mom. I'm her mom. And that job's kind of sucky sometimes. So you should let me have it, because when you guys try to mom each other is when you fight. And do you want
Yeah.
that all the time? Or do you just want to be your sister and do the things that sisters do? Right. And so that was at 5. We have like gradually continued to like push her to be her sister as much as possible. There's glimpses of it now, not as much. Like
Okay.
her birthday was this weekend, Ruth's was, and it was a roller skating rink. So Charlie's helping all the other kids that she invited, because they're all from her DSL class, right? So she's
Right.
helping them put on skates, and she's doing like she is mothering them in a way, but she also didn't want to skate, and she's like, I don't mind, I'll help these kids. And I was like, great, awesome. But you like this week, I have to have the talk with her about like, thank you so much for helping. That was above and beyond what you should have done as a sibling. So I just want to be really clear that we're still in the sibling space.
It's interesting you say that because my 12-year-old is constantly wanting to mother my 9-year-old, and my 9-year-old is not
Not
having
having
it.
not having it.
Is so independent on her own and like, mom, like, and I mean, I think from age 2, my little one was saying, "You're not my mom," to my older one.
100%. Like, don't take that job. I always tell her, I go, it sucks. Like, this job
Right.
sucks. Like,
Right.
just make me do it. Like, I am assigned that job. Like, I'll have it. But like you can opt out.
Right, right. And my older one, she had said to her physical therapist, like her physical therapist shared with me, and she had said, "Well, I help mom and dad out by putting my little sister to sleep, so I'm not sleeping as well." I'm like, "Well, wait, what?" So I put a quash to it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're like, not
absolutely not.
anymore.
You're not putting her to bed anymore. And then it comes out, like, she's like, "But no, I want to sleep with her." I'm like, "Okay, so if you want to sleep with her, that is your choice. But don't go telling people that you're helping me out." And of course, my
Right.
husband, don't be the martyr,
Totally.
like if
Totally.
you want to sleep with her and put her to sleep because you guys want to sleep together, that is great. I'm all for it. You guys are sisters. I love it. Have that relationship. But don't feel you have to do it because mom and dad are too tired and don't want to do it. Because we do want to do it and we're fine doing it. And that's
Right.
our job, right? We signed up for that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think, I mean, we hold that, and I do get people that are like, and this is one of the big things, because we're kind of leading down there, is like, my circle's too small. Of course, the sibling's gonna have to do it. The thing. And I'm like, but not today. Like they're 12 and 10, right? Yes. Charlie would probably want some form of responsibility with Ruth, but I want her to be very clear about how that changes things in a relationship, because I took care of my dad. I was his power of attorney. I was no longer his daughter. Like, I had to take his driver's license away. I went to his doctor's appointments. Like,
No.
we're talking lots of stuff where you're like, this is not a parent-child relationship anymore. I am the responsible person over you, and it's a flip, right? And so that changes that relationship ongoing, right? And it's not like I'm not going to be his daughter, but it did change the responsibility. So I want my daughter that's 12 to really know what that means,
right,
in the real life. Like, this is an actual job description of what that would be if you took over XYZ for Ruth.
And a time commitment and financial commitment potentially, and
if you are on your own, you have a spouse, you have your own kids, like, there's a big dynamic. But I do get a lot of, like, I don't have a big enough group, and I'm always like, let's write down the tasks you're doing for your child and then sort them into different categories, and then let's find human beings in your circle that could take these jobs over, right? So, like, a project manager, right? You're setting the appointments, you're making sure people go there, you're doing logistics. Like, that is a project. We all know a project manager. We go on vacation with them and they plan everything. It's amazing, right? Yep. So, like,
show up.
Yeah, I'm a travel princess sometimes. So, but that is the personality type, right? We have someone that's a true guardian. They are responsible for that person. We have a trustee. They're in charge of the money, distributions, all the things. Like, there are human beings out there that can do these, and there are professionals, if we can pay for it, that can do those jobs too. So we got to, like, and then when I talk about doing the legal work, I'm always like, it's a 5-year commitment to whoever you assign. Yeah. That relieves your brain of being like, this is in stone, this is forever. Yeah, you got to redo your documents. Sure. But I will redo my documents every 5 years if I have a bigger pool of people to pull from. Right. That means older people, like grandparents, can take a role for they can do a 5-year stint, right? And this is like emergent. If something happens to me and my husband, you are the person, right?
Right.
So I think you have to do that, or else you are going to just put your head in that wonderful sand that's so warm and not do it, because it seems super comfy there.
Right. And it's overwhelming when you start thinking about it. And who wants to think about that? Like, I think about it all the time. Like, who takes care of my kids if, God forbid, something happens? And, like, I don't want to think about that. No, but you have to, because if not, then what?
It's the worst. Then we're in an emergent state. And I don't want to be in an emergent state. Neither do you.
No, none of us do. And then that's the thing. Like, okay, this family member and that family member, and who's doing what, and is there fighting? And that's not good for the kids either, because now it's not their family coming together to support them. There's this fighting going on, and not necessarily bad fighting. It's everybody wants to care for, or whatever it is. Totally. But if you have that plan in place, everybody knows their role, and then they can be there to truly support your children. Totally. In the way needed.
Yeah. And if you've ever administered an estate, it's kind of the worst job, actually. Like, you're like an awful middle manager. You're like implementing something that somebody isn't even here around to, like, tell you why, and you have zero choice in what the implementation is. So, like, really be clear about what you want, who's the administrator, who has jobs, and like I said, talk to them ahead. Make this clear. Make it accessible, so it's not a surprise for anyone. That is, like, worst case for our family specifically.
Right. No, exactly. And everybody knows whose role is what, and why. Like, look at, we know the why. My sister is going to be the trustee. Right. Why? Because she's good with money. End of story. My other sister and I are not. Right. Would we do it as honestly as we could? Yes. Will we do it easily? No. And so let my younger sister do it. Like, that's okay. We're fine with that. But that's the thing, is to talk it through and have that plan and know that. Luckily, my sisters and I are all on the same page of knowing who can handle what. And so it's not a big deal. But that doesn't always happen. And then that's where you see a lot of the fights and stuff. which I want to circle back around to the book and the financial
Yeah.
planning part of not only like the wills and that stuff that is important, but that's where the financial planning comes in of like,
Right.
what do you need? What are you, what are, what are the things that you're going to need in the future? Because I'll tell you now, I don't know,
Right.
and that's where you come in of like, okay, so if you have a child with this,
Mm-hmm.
chances are these are what you're going to need. This is what you can get from here. This is what you can get from there. So now let's circle back of where's the best way to financially put your money to plan for these things in the future.
Yeah,
Is it a
absolutely.
right? Is it a
Absolutely.
529? Is it a Roth? Is it a SEP? Whatever.
Yeah. And we get a lot of questions, I think, coming in about like, I mean, they know the overarching structure of like, give our child an amazing life. If they're on benefits, keep benefits on board, not above $2,000, right? And then we have an able and a special needs stress. Cool. We got the framework, right? But then in the death and the details, right, of how this actually plays out are like, when do I stand up the trust and when do I fund it? What do I leverage and able for? And then the big one that you're talking about is like, what is the projected cost of care? So that is one of the big reasons a lot of people come to us. And yes, we have a huge Rolodex of clients that we've had like, oh, and we have them from age 3 to, in their 60s, right? We've had the whole lifespan of families where now we're on the end of it where parents aren't around anymore and we have the trust and we're managing the trust and making sure all the people are playing the parts, right? And we're sending money out, right? So we like know those things. And I always tell people like the cost of care, like the hard cost is the easy part of that. So like Ruth loves milkshakes. She's going to drink milkshakes for the rest of her life. Cool. I can budget 2 milkshakes a week at whatever place, right? That's an easy math type of scenario. Now, the thing that's impossible for us as parent caregivers to extrapolate is what am I doing that is not a parent activity?
Right.
What am I doing for Ruth that is not covered by a waiver that a caregiver could come into, and then also is not a actual parent activity at her age level? So she's 10, right? So we still check to make sure everything's cool in the bathroom with Ruth. Are other people doing that at 10? Probably not. Right. How long are we gonna have to do that for? And then what is the cost associated with that if someone else had to come do that for her?
Right. And that makes sense. And it's thinking through, and you don't think about what we do every day.
Right, because you're lumped in it. You're lumped in,
right.
Yeah.
You're just doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like stuff like dressing, or the one I use a lot is showering is a great example for a lot of families because they're going to ask you that on your what can your child do on your own in these waiver assessments every year, and even SSI will ask these questions of the ADLs, right? So the shower is my favorite because I'm like, okay, cool, friend, can your loved one with disability notice they smell bad or their hair is greasy or they notice they need a shower, right? We need to do this from cradle to grave. So I need a shower. Cool. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get completely undressed, turn the shower on, shower completely, including washing your hair.
Right.
That's the one that gets everybody.
Or rinsing the shampoo out.
Rinsing it all out, or shaving if you need, face, legs, arms, pits, whatever that is entailing. Cool. Did all of it. Got all the soap off. I'm clean. I can dry completely. I can put my clothes, new dry clothes back on, put all the clothes back in the laundry, hang up the towel, dry and lotion whatever way I need to, and I'm ready for the day. So if you are intervening at any of those steps, they are not doing the shower completely on their own. So you need to verbally tell someone, oh, I have to go in and make sure the shampoo is washed out. Yeah, they hate the feeling of washing their hair, so they usually skip it. Okay. Then you have to go do reminders. You have to be in there. You have to know when they're going to wash their hair. You have to actually be in the house, right? So like that is the best example I have to give to people because it's very easy to know when you have to intervene.
Yeah. No, I know, and that works. It makes sense.
Yeah. Totally, and then you think of that in all the stuff, like dressing, transportation,
eating.
Feeding is a huge one.
Making food,
Making food for you in the school district. What is happening in the school district compared to what's happening at home? Are these two different stories? Right. Usually. Because I go to Ruth
Right.
IEP and they're like, she's a dream. She follows directions. And I'm like, we're talking about Ruth McDirmid, right? Like,
Right.
little, looks like me, has glasses. Like, that's the same one. Because in my house, she's like a one woman Broadway show. We're all there for her entertainment.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, is
No,
there a disconnect too, right?
right. And that, I mean, that's like that you can bring back to the IEP table. Like, you should be talking about what everybody's doing and what everybody's seeing because it's important to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
and to plan for it that way. So I want to swing back to the book a little bit. So
Yeah.
is your book for I have no clue where I am, what do I need to do people, or is it for people that already have planning going on, or is it a combination?
The combination. I mean, some of it
Okay.
will, like the beginning will be like, oh, yeah, I don't know where. And the chapters are structured in a way where you can pick your poison as well. So, like, it is I've never started, I can read this and do it. Or if you want to, you can skip through. Oh, a part that is my favorite is there is a summary of every chapter at the end, right? So, like, if you are like, I'm a TLDR visual person, right? I need a summary to know what I'm getting into before I read the whole chapter because it takes me a lot longer to read than most people. So I'm like, I want to read a summary and then I'm like, oh yeah, I do need all this. Then I'm going to go through the whole chapter, right? So there is a summary at the end of every chapter too. If you want to be like, have I done this? Am I cool with this? Okay, read that summary and go through.
That's awesome. So yeah, so that's I mean anybody I would say any listener that doesn't already have a financial planner would
Yeah.
probably benefit from reading your book.
Or even if you do and you want to check some stuff off to make sure they're doing what they need to, do that.
Oh, that makes sense too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because not all financial planners know and are plan. We talked
I
about
love
that before.
I like the giggle. I like the giggle
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. Like not all are built the same. Like
Yeah.
they love them all, and that's the thing. It's life experiences, but that's with any career. Any job. Not all mechanics are going to do the best. Not all attorneys are going to. Like it's very specific, and it's finding the right one that knows what you need and how to build on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have peers that are amazing in the industry in the financial planning world and I adore them, but they will come ask me things and be like they what was it last month? It was like, oh, he's like, they said they wanted to buy a condo, like and BBRO it, but like have a room just like with all the stuff for their son. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, traveling's hard for them. And they want a safe space where they can go because they love to travel probably, but it's very hard. So they want a room that's just always going to be the same. So that when their son arrives, it's safe, it's quiet, he can decompress from traveling. Um, and they want, some income from it because they're not going to be there all the time. So like you just gotta like put a different pair of glasses on to think differently about their son being with them for the next 15 years. And the other clients you're planning for necessarily aren't supporting 100% another person for that long after they are out of school at 22.
Right.
So they do ask good questions. The ones that are like worried about doing the planning well, they will ask really great questions to the ones that they know they're in the industry. Yeah.
I don't say those that don't. You don't always know what to ask if you don't live it.
Totally.
Right? Which is part of the reason of my show is like, let's help you build your village. It's like, wow, I didn't know that existed,
Yeah.
and that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. And I know, so we touched on able accounts, we touched on special needs trusts, and I have episodes that I'm sure we'll link, that Kevin will link to below so that people can see those episodes to learn more. But I know there was something you talked about, like the age 18 financial cliff.
Sure. I think there's multiple transitions, right? Just like you have probably through the IEP process. Like we have grade school to middle school to high school, right? Those are perfect
Right.
to the transition program. You got 4, right?
Yep.
For us, we do like to think of them in different transitions, but the 18 one gets like shoved at us, whether we want it or not. And it is, in the eyes of the world, Ruth will be an adult at 18. So, what are things we need to make sure we're preparing for that transition, right? And so, the hot tips I always give people, one of my favorite, easy, attainable things is get them a state issued ID before they turn 18.
Oh,
Like,
good idea. Yeah.
so simple. Will make your life
But think about it. Right.
700 times easier on the flip side, and just get them a state issued ID. So, because once they turn 18, they would either have to go do them that on their own, or you can come, but the DMV is going to be like, why are you here? And
Right.
if you don't have guardianship or POA or that stuff set up yet, it's very hard to accomplish that goal, right? You're like,
Right. Oh, 100%. You don't even think about it because it's the same thing with, I know that in some of the mom groups, they've talked about it. It's like when their children hit a certain age, the doctors won't talk to them anymore.
yeah, you don't have access to like my chart. 13,
Right.
14, it depends on what state you're in. But yes, they passed
And then
several
what?
laws.
Because if your 14-year-old isn't to the position that they can go on and see what it is and tell you, which a lot of, I mean,
Or you
neurotypical
can't even get
14-year-olds
into like
can't.
renew a prescription. You can't set an appointment. Now, the hospital systems that are larger, I would say, are privy to this, and they will be like, you have to sign this document, like that you're the person, and we will give you access. So like, it is getting better, but when that first passed, it was like, oh, this is painful. This is painful. And even my peers that have typical kids at 14, they're like, I still pay the bill. I still need to figure out how to get an appointment. Like, my wonderful 14-year-old is not going to do all this stuff. So like, there is a disconnect. Right. And I know freedom to talk to your doctor at what age about anything you want. I want to respect that, but also give parents some kind of access. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then 18, they're legally an adult. So that is the big change in your head of being like, but they're still in school. And I'm like, yep, still in school till whatever, 21, 22, depending on your state. But they are, in the eyes of the world, an adult. So we have guardianship, power of attorney decisions. We have making sure they don't have assets in their name, because they will be Social Security eligible most likely if you are already on a state waiver. We want to apply for that. Depending on their job journey, like how are we going to navigate the working world? I do tell people oftentimes, if you haven't established an ABLE at 18, you're gonna want it. And we use an ABLE as an overflow for the person with the disability to shove money to save under $2,000. Okay. Yeah. So in my head, we apply for Social Security, right? Yep. They're running, I don't know, 280 days to approval at this point, right? So that's a long time to wait, but you just gotta be patient. We're patient humans. We've gone through a million systems, medical, school, all of it, waiver. So we're going to wait that many days. And then when they give you the thumbs up, like, yep, they're on Social Security, they're going to back pay to the date of application.
Yep.
So what am I going to do with $10,000 and I have to spend it down in 6 months? Well, we're going to use Enable, swipe that over, put it into Enable to save for something larger. And in your rep pay account, you're going to be under $2,000, right? So I'm always like, when people are on the fence about Able, I'm like, it's not really a choice. Like, cool, be on the fence about it all you want, but we only have 2 places to put money for our kids, and that one you're going to need if you're going to get back pay and Social Security. There's just no other way.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I know as soon as I heard about them, I opened them for both my kids, and they're there.
Yeah, like most people are like, this sounds great. I need something to put savings into, but like for those on the fence, don't be on the fence. It's great. It's awesome. You can leverage it in multiple ways, but once we get Social Security back pay, that's a big one. And then also, when as a parent draws Social Security, so this is way down in the future, like I'm retired, I'm going to draw Social Security. Ruth is on that system as well. She can piggyback off my record and the DAC system, which means her Social Security could increase. Same kind of thing. We need an overflow when we get close to being to $2,000. And I always tell people, they're like, is it over the year? I was like, I wish it was over the year. No, it's January 1 to January 31st. You have to be with under $2,000 from the last day of the month. So pretend like Ruth's working at Mod Pizza and getting $2,000 into her household, and she's getting $1,000 from Social Security, right? We're at $3,000 into her household. She pays me $500 for support for living in my home, and we still have $2,500 in her rep pay account. Before the end of the month, I have to move that $500 to an ABLE account to be under $2,000 by the end of the month.
Got it. So it's cumulative by the month.
Correct.
Average by the month.
Correct. So when people get over resourced, You got a little bit of buffer time, but you got to figure out a place to put that. And luckily, Able's very easy to open. Like
Oh
it can
yeah.
be open within 2 days, and then you can move that stuff.
Easy to transfer in and out, and
It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's very easy.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
that's
it.
a big one at 18 is the Social Security management of rep payee money actually coming to them, like in their name, staying below that limit so that we're still on the Medicaid eligibility is all going to be intact.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So for people that want to get the book, I'm assuming
Yeah.
Amazon will have the link.
Is that Amazon? Yeah, we have the book page link too. We have a just a link where you can go and order, and it gives you all the choices of where it is. But Amazon, Barnes and Noble, there's a independent one as well if you want to support an independent bookstore.
That's good to know. Yeah, we love the independence, right?
Yeah.
And I know we'll have all of your information linked to you of get in touch of like, maybe I need to. Just out of curiosity, like for a consultation, for somebody's like, I don't know if I need you. What does that
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah, so our process is first meeting is with me. You're going to love every second of it. I am actually trying to figure out if you are a fit for us and we're a fit for you. So I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about what you have going on. No money obligation, just we really need to get to know you. Second meeting, I'm going to show you a draft plan of how it works in the money. Again, I'm a visual human, so I have to actually look at it. No obligation till after that meeting. So you get 2 hours of me, and you can ask me anything, and it's awesome. And if you want to engage with us, then after that meeting, we would engage and do the cost of care and deliver an action roadmap for you. So you get pretty good contact for not paying anything in the upfront, but that is part of our offering because we want to get people as far along and then decide which road is the best for them.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. That makes sense. And I know we'll have the link to that. Thank you so much, Mary, for coming on the show again. I love having you because I think it's so funny because there's something new every single time, right? You learn something new.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me, of course.
Of course. And thank you all for joining us on this episode of Stress Free IEP. We hope today's conversation gave you new tools, insights, or just a little more peace of mind as you support your neurodivergent child. Next week, we'll have episode 148, where Michelle Steiner will be talking about learning disabilities and self-advocacy. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone in your village. You can always learn more and connect with me at schefterlaw.com or follow along on social media. Until next time, remember, you do not have to do it all alone.